We're live and it's Valentine's Day and we have a special song for you. You ready? I got a smile on my face.
It's a beautiful day.
I'm gonna smile at the world.
I'm gonna smile today.
Ain't nothing wrong.
I can't complain.
This love is so strong.
I'm playing the game.
There's nothing but love here, but peace and harmony. There's nothing but love here. You get the best of me. Oh, ooh, oh, woohoo! Welcome everyone to the Green Nurse Podcast, Clinical Conversations. Happy Valentine's Day, where we are here to bring you hope and inspiration for growth and healing. We're here to change the dialogue and stigma around what it means to feel good and be high. And you're going to hear me say it once. You're going to hear me say it twice. You may hear me say it 3 times. H is for hope. I is for inspiration. G is for growth. And H is for healing. It's okay to feel good. Everyone deserves to feel good. And so do you. Yep. February is Heart Health Month. And we're here to provide you with some hugs and nugs of information on heart health and cannabis right after this video about what we do in the cannabis space as nurses. And then we'll get right into it. Here we go.
Change the paradigm of healthcare.
The Green Nurse is a holistic cannabis nurse that teaches on the endocannabinoid system and the safe utilization of cannabis and other progressive tools to help people reach a better quality of life.
I'm the founder of Holistic Caring. We're based here in California, and we do educational programs and case management for patients on how to use cannabis therapeutically as a medicine.
We're also here to decrease stigma around what it means to feel good and be high, hence the H for hope, I for inspiration, G for growth, and H for healing.
As the founder of Holistic Caring, I basically oversee the whole ship. And what we're doing is progressive education.
Cannabis actually supports all 11 organ systems, our immune system, and all the neurotransmitter signaling systems that give messages to tell our body to either do something or not do something. Because the plant was prohibited, it prevented health professionals, doctors and nurses from learning about cannabis as medicine.
I want to change the paradigm of healthcare and us paving the way into a new vanguard of medicine.
It's about education, it's about empowerment, it's about teaching people how to feel good, bridging the gap from what they're not getting from traditional medicine, utilizing different plant medicines, adaptogens, tips, tricks, hugs, and nugs of information to support and nourish the most important system in our body.
And it's a lot of soul work, a lot of love, a lot of discipline, and meditation. I'm using my life work as a testimony to others to learn how they can be their own hero and then go help heal the world.
And we are, as nurses, the game changers.
On mute, one of my favorite videos, hope, inspiration, growth, and healing. So welcome to the Green Nurse Podcast, Clinical Conversations webcast. This segment of our podcasting came about when Nurse Elizabeth and I merged our companies, Holistic Caring and the Green Nurse, alongside of Bloom Hemp, creating Holistic Caring Network. And Clinical Conversations naturally came out of that, out of all the discussions that we've had. And it explores all aspects of how to optimize cannabis as medicine. People are making great medicines. People are selling these great medicines, yet no one is truly interpreting how to use cannabis as medicine. And that is what we do. But before we get started on our presentation, we do have a special message from our sponsors at Bloom Hemp. And I'm just going to pop up that little slide there. Elizabeth, tell us about Bloom.
Okay, well, Bloom Hemp is a woman and nurse-owned national hemp CBD supplier, leading with quality, safety, and patient-centered care. Bloom Hemp products are USDA organic, grown in the mountains of Colorado, and tested for purity, potency, cannabinoid, and terpene profiles. Bloom Hemp is proud to offer a free nurse line, so you can call 1-970-404-HOPE and ask questions about how CBD works in the body and how it might help you. So Bloom Hemp has a coupon called Green Nurse, which will give you 10% off and free shipping. So order today.
Yeah, and if you stick around long enough, we have a special flash sale today that we're going to show you a slide on in a little bit.
Yep.
All right. So thank you, Bloom Hemp, for that commercial. All right. So here we go. Heart health and cannabis. Is it okay to use cannabis if you have a cardiac condition or a heart cardiovascular disease? And so let me pull up those slides. And we're going to get started.
The short answer is it depends.
It all depends. That is the short answer. It is. It always depends. It depends upon what you're using cannabis for. We always educate on looking at the risk-benefit ratio for all treatment modalities. What is the product type? What are the cannabinoids consumed? And dosing all matters when it comes to cardiovascular health and cannabis consumption. So we're going to get started on this slide deck. So what is the cardiovascular system? Right? It's the heart and circulating veins and arteries. So our heart beats to deliver oxygen-rich blood to all of our other organ systems to keep them alive and functioning. So you'll hear doctors say tissue perfusion, right? So we need to deliver oxygen-rich blood to all of our different systems. And the heart is what does that. It pumps that. It's that cardiovascular pump. So what is heart disease? Coronary artery disease, or CAD. People that have a heart attack, stroke, high blood pressure, angina, which is chest pain, rheumatic heart disease are some examples. And there are cardiac risk factors. Age 50 or over for men, 55 or older for women. Genetics, people that have a family history of cardiovascular disease, women that have a history of preeclampsia during pregnancy, high blood pressure or high cholesterol or risk factors for coronary artery disease, diabetes and prediabetes, looking at those lab results, high A1C, smoking cigarettes, drinking alcohol, being overweight or obese, unhealthy diet, being physically inactive and not exercising. Sounds like an endocannabinoid deficiency to me.
Yeah, and risk factors that are controllable. That's the good thing. They're modifiable by us.
Yeah,
we talk about that a lot.
Yep. Absolutely. So cardiovascular research.
Yeah. So this is a Cannakeys dashboard, and you can see that we've got about 111 meta-analysis of studies where they're analyzing all the research from all of the studies that are out there in the world. And we have 29 clinical trials for humans. And what they're finding is that the endocannabinoid system receptors, our CB1 and CB2, they respond to the cannabinoids, and that can be cannabinoids from the plant and cannabinoids from our body. They're present in the tissues that comprise the heart and the vascular and the distribution pathways of our blood circulation system. And the ECS plays a role in the healthy cardiac function. We know that there's endocannabinoid receptors, CB1 and CB2, in the heart, and dysfunction of these receptors or any of these components has significant impacts on the cardiovascular disorders, such as angina, ischemia, MI, myocardial infarction or a heart attack, atherosclerosis, hypertension, arrhythmias, ischemia, reperfusion injuries, and heart failure. So it's very involved.
Very involved. So in Cannakeys, we love Cannakeys. Dr. Uwe Bleshing has put together just an amazing website, and this is where we get a lot of our research. And so there are studied conditions in the cardiovascular system in cannabinoids, and these are the top studied conditions. You want to talk a little bit about this image?
Well, this image is CB1 activation, right? And so when we think of that, normally we're thinking about the nervous system, the brain, the central channel, where most of the CB1 receptors are, but they're everywhere and they affect all of our functioning. And sometimes, it changes how things work. So if you want me to read those small prints, I need my glasses. Okay. So in the heart, let's just talk specifically. It can decrease heart rate and blood pressure after an initial increase, right? So at first, it'll increase those things, and then it'll slow that down. Myocardial contractibility and coronary dilation, it looks like. So blood vessels can vasodilate. When we have any kind of cannabinoids, they can cause vasodilation, which is a relaxing of the vasoconstrictions.
And we're going to talk about that in an upcoming slide, because the endocannabinoid system signals the fight or flight response, right? Which increases our heart rate, which is normal. And it also signals the relaxation response. And so it's really looking for that sweet spot. And that's what we're going to be talking about in these slides. Okay. Here we go. Here's the study.
Statins dysregulate the endocannabinoid system, and they cause muscle weakness and pain. A lot of times when people are taking statins, they need to take a CoQ10 and other things because they change the way that the genes responsible for endocannabinoid creation and degradation, so the enzymes that are making our endocannabinoids and breaking them down. And if we go to the next page, then we can talk about how simvastatin and some of these big statins alter that by changing the functions, right? So what the statin drugs can do is they increase the endocannabinoid receptor expression. They could also increase the endocannabinoid themselves. Actually, they increase the endocannabinoids, not the receptors. And what happens when we have an excess level of endocannabinoids circulating is that there's too many, right? And then the receptors then downregulate, and we call that, Sherry calls them going into hiding, right? They're like, I don't need to be here because there's excessive ones. So it's a protective mechanism so that things are balanced, because the endocannabinoid system is our system of balance. So the chronic cannabis consumption that some people have can downregulate those cannabinoid receptors as well. If you're taking too much THC, your body protects and the receptors hide. When endocannabinoid levels are low or deficient, the cannabinoid receptors are expressed and they come out and they upregulate. And that's really what we want, so that these receptors are always there ready to get the signals. And when endocannabinoid receptors levels are low or deficient, then we have problems. And when we have excessive ECS, the endocannabinoids, that can be linked to obesity, insulin resistance, metabolic syndrome, type 2 diabetes, liver and kidney dysfunctions. And simvastatin itself dysregulates the tone by altering the enzymes. So we have a few parts to the endocannabinoid system, which we'll talk about, but it's really the receptors, the endocannabinoids, and the enzymes. And the statins alter these enzymes that break down our own anandamide and 2-AG, which are our own endocannabinoids. And that can be similar to CBD, sort of inhibiting FA, which is one of the enzymes. So, basically we want our body in balance, and there are protective mechanisms. One of them is taking CoQ10. If you're taking statins and you're feeling some muscle weakness, you might want to take CoQ10 as a daily supplement to enhance your cardiac function.
Yep. There we go, statin. So the impact of CB1 receptors of heart rate and heart attack risk. So THC increases heart rate. We know that. THC may increase heart rate as much as 20 to 50 beats. And here's what happens when you first consume THC. You have to think about, I'm a cardiovascular nurse. I did cardiac intensive care nursing and worked literally. When you vasodilate, I want you to think of a spaghetti, right? That's getting fatter, right? It's the diameter of the vessel is getting bigger. Vasodilation.
It swells.
It swells, right? And so you have the vasodilation of the vessel. And so if it opens up, it's allowing more space and your blood pressure drops. That is normal. So vasodilation, so THC vasodilates, increases the diameter of the blood vessels, which causes the blood pressure to drop. This is normal, forcing the heart to work a little bit harder to pump oxygen-rich blood to the other organs. So the heart rate increases to compensate for the decrease in blood pressure caused by the THC. So some reports suggest that the heart works 30% harder in presence of high levels of THC. So it really has to do with dosing. The cannabinoid and how you're taking it makes a huge, huge difference. And we're going to talk about that. I mean,
that's why some people get dizzy.
That's right. Some people get dizzy. Yeah. So like when you first take cannabis for the first time, because it's opening up the blood vessels, it's dropping your blood pressure. Your heart has to compensate. So it starts to beat a little bit faster to deliver that oxygen-rich blood, and people may feel a little dizzy. But over time, what happens is it passes, right? And that's why we're going to talk about dosing strategies, starting low and going slow, and product choices make a difference. Specifically, if you need to use higher doses of THC. So cannabis effects on arteries. This is very interesting. It has mostly to do with THC. High doses of THC increases plaque buildup in arteries that can lead to heart attack and stroke, whereas low doses of THC have been shown to reduce plaque buildup and the risk for atherosclerosis. And we can talk a little bit more about that and why that might happen.
Inflammation.
Here's one. I totally love the answer page. They do a lot of great work. We
Yeah,
get this
every day. Yeah. So, and you can Google the answer page and sign up for the email alerts. They're very, very convenient. So smoking and vaporizing marijuana may induce an increase in heart rate. Is smoking marijuana associated with other cardiac electrical effects? Well, yes. THC may increase catecholamine levels, stress hormones, and therefore theoretically increases the likelihood of arrhythmias temporarily. Various cardiac electrical effects have been described in observational studies. Atrial fibrillation was one of the more commonly reported arrhythmias. Other marijuana-induced arrhythmias reported include atrial flutter, atrioventricular block, asystole, where the heart stops for a moment, sick sinus syndrome, ventricular tachycardia, and Brugada patterns.
There you go. And catecholamines are normal, right? It's a part of the neurohormones. It's a chemical that is made by nerve cells and used to send signals. However, if we have a lot of too much catecholamines, right, during the stress response, high levels can cause the increase in blood pressure, which can lead to headaches, sweating, pounding of the heart, pain in the chest, and anxiety. No fun for anyone.
No fun.
All right. AFib risk in cannabis.
Well, so a European Heart Journal did a study on AFib and medical cannabis. What AFib is irregular or arrhythmic heartbeat that has been linked to more serious cardiovascular outcomes such as stroke, heart failure, and blood clots if left untreated. Symptoms of AFib are independent of any cause would be palpitations, shortness of breath, fatigue, dizziness, rapid or irregular heartbeats. A new study finds that people who take medical cannabis have twice the risk of atrial fibrillation. But if you look at it, and we have to highlight this,
we evaluate this.
Right. In medical cannabis patients, less than 1% experienced AFib, and they might have had some risk already. And so 0.08 of medical cannabis users versus 0.04 of non-users. Now, recreational use is different, yeah. Right? And that is using high THC purposefully. That has been associated with elevated risks of arrhythmias and acute coronary syndromes. Recreational use has also been linked to increased risks of heart attack. And the European Heart Journal did not think that research should make patients with chronic pain or other medical cannabis needs refrain from trying medical cannabis if other treatments have been inadequate. So we always do this as clinicians, risk benefit, right? What are the risks to me and what are the benefits? And we have to outweigh the benefits from the risks.
Or we need to look at ways to mitigate side effects.
Yeah.
Right.
So, yeah. And so basically, Dr. Holt told Medical News today that the results should simply serve as a reminder that all medical treatment may carry the risk of side effects and that we should always make sure that the benefits outweigh the risks.
Yep. And atrial fibrillation isn't something to screw around with, right? So people that have cardiac conditions, can be life-changing, debilitating. Your heart is contracting, your atria and ventricles are contracting at a specific rate and rhythm, and it's all electrically related. And so when your atria and your ventricles don't communicate to one another, and you have these atria quivering, you're not getting the amount of oxygen-rich blood pumped to the different areas, and you're going to have a whole host of symptoms. It can be very, very dangerous for people. And so we're going to teach how to mitigate that.
No, very low THC.
Very low. That's where we go. CBD and the benefits on cardiovascular health, right? A better deal. A better deal for patients. CBD decreases inflammation and oxidative stress without the risk of THC-induced tachycardia or anxiety. There's no radical changes in heart rate and blood pressure from using CBD. The cardioprotective effects, such as stress reduction via the modulation of the serotonin receptors and the antioxidant properties, actually make this a really great choice for people that are new to cannabis that want to use it as medicine. CBD can also modulate THC's ability to fully activate CB1 receptors and protects against some of the harm done in the drop in blood pressure and the elevated heart rate caused by the THC alone. A lot of people think that CBD is going to take away their effect. CBD and THC work together hand in hand. It's a potent antioxidant that neutralizes harmful free radicals. And I like to look at free radicals as harmful little medical body terrorists that cause our bodies to oxidize or rust from the inside out. So free radical damage, if you think about oxidative stress, if you peel 2 apples and you put them on the counter, you cover one with lemon juice, right? That's an antioxidant. And if you walk away, come back, the one that has been covered in lemon juice will be completely pristine and look beautifully crisp and ripe, whereas the other one that's been exposed to air will start to rust, as we call it. That's oxidative stress. It'll turn brown. And that's what happens inside of our bodies. So we want to prevent that from happening.
Yeah. So a little bit more on CBD protecting the cardiovascular system. When we think about high blood pressure, CBD can relax the blood vessels, vasodilation, but doesn't usually lower the blood pressure unless it's stress related, which is really interesting. CBD might help with stress-induced high blood pressure because it calms the nerves and relaxes the blood vessels along with the rest of us. It just helps us relax. For diabetes and blood vessel damage, high blood sugar from diabetes can damage blood vessels, causing vision loss and amputations in long-term trajectory if untreated. CBD cannot lower blood sugar particularly, but it helps blood vessels from damage by lowering inflammation. And it also helps improve insulin sensitivity. Heart attacks and strokes. CBD might also help protect the heart and the brain from damage after a heart attack or stroke. CBD reduces the inflammation and stress, which worsens the damage from ischemia. So if you have a time where you're not getting blood perfusion, CBD helps reverse some of that damage. And then preventing blood vessel problems themselves. CBD might prevent blood vessel problems caused by high blood sugar, smoking, and alcohol abuse. CBD can help with smoking cessation and may reduce alcohol-related liver damage. Smoking cessation by lowering addictive cravings. CBD long-term, back to Cannakeys, will show you that CBD helps us. So if you want to quit smoking, CBD might help. And this is the time to quit.
And what is CBD for the new viewers? Well, CBD is a cannabinoid, and CBD can be found in the cannabis plant with greater than 0.3% THC, and CBD can be found from the hemp plant that has less than 0.3% THC. The most important thing about CBD is that the government had a patent on it 21 years ago in 2003. Patent number 6630507. Cannabinoids is antioxidants and neuroprotectants. They're found to protect cells from damage and decay following ischemic insults, such as result of stroke and trauma. So cannabinoids may hold therapeutic potential to treat neurodegenerative diseases such as Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, and dementia.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And cannabinoids going on, we can have three different types of cannabinoids. So endocannabinoids that our body makes internally, anandamide and 2-AG. The phytocannabinoids that the plant makes that we can then take in. CBD and THC are the most famous, but CBG, CBN, THCV, CBDA, CBGA are some of the other ones that are out in circulation. And then pharmaceutical companies have made synthetic cannabinoids. Marinol is synthetic THC, and Epidiolex is a purified version of CBD that is actually real plant, but it's FDA approved, and it's isolated to like 99.9% CBD. So THC and CBD are the plant phytocannabinoids, and they mimic the endocannabinoids in our body to activate these endocannabinoid system receptors. They activate the receptors on the cell membranes to restore balance at the cellular level, slowing down sometimes neurotransmission and allowing healing in our body. So I sometimes think of CB1, when we activate that, it's brakes for the nervous system. CB2 is brakes for the immune system, running hot.
Yep. You think about, we go into the fight or flight response, that's running hot. Yeah. Relaxation response, we're cooling it off.
Yep. And immune conditions, etc. But as you can see in this nerve cell image, you can see THC and anandamide have the same molecular structure, which then allows it to bind into that receptor just like our own endogenous cannabinoids. But the phytocannabinoids are about 10 times stronger than the endocannabinoids. So that's why they last longer. When we're using endocannabinoids, they're synthesized, they're activated, they're used, and then they're degraded in microseconds, as opposed to the onset and duration of some of the phytocannabinoids that we'll talk about.
Okay, so again, here's another image of phytocannabinoids mimicking endocannabinoids. Phytocannabinoids such as THC molecule from cannabis mimics the endocannabinoids to fulfill the cell signaling duties that are needed to return the body to homeostasis. And then here we go. Cannabinoids are keys that interact with the endocannabinoid system. So they fit into specific locks or receptors in our body to balance out all bodily functions. So the endocannabinoid system is comprised of three parts: receptors, endocannabinoids, and enzymes. So the enzymes synthesize and break down the cannabinoids after use and help build receptors when needed. The receptors are located on all of the cell surfaces of all of our 11 organ systems. We have cannabinoid 1 and cannabinoid 2 receptors, and then the endocannabinoids, the anandamide and 2-AG that we make upon demand, and they mimic the endocannabinoids. And you can see retrograde signaling here, where we have the presynaptic to postsynaptic. That's how normal transition is. But when the endocannabinoid system, we have retrograde signaling where we go from postsynaptic to presynaptic to release those endocannabinoids upon demand to trigger a therapeutic response to either dial up or dial down.
Yeah, and it's a feedback mechanism. It's all about
It's
feedback and
sensing.
messaging. Yeah.
Look at it as like a big warm blanket, right? We're putting our endocannabinoid system blanket on. And we've got another image of the umbrella right here. We're showering on our umbrella, the endocannabinoid system. And just another example, it's the largest neurotransmitter signaling system. And how I like to teach it is with the umbrella. And the reason I like to teach it with the umbrella, because it shows the interconnectedness of all of our different systems. So we're comprised of 30 trillion cells broken down into 11 organ systems in our immune system, regulated by a master regulatory system called the endocannabinoid system. So we have cannabinoid receptors on all of the cell surfaces of all of our 11 organ systems and at the neurotransmitter signaling junction site. So stress in the body triggers the release of these endocannabinoids to activate CB1 and CB2 and do some downstream on all the other neurotransmitters and hormonal signaling systems to activate. And phytocannabinoids in the plant mimic and also activate the CB1 and CB2. And so the goal, again, is homeostasis amongst all of the systems. The endocannabinoid system is that switchboard operator regulating both the fight or flight response and the relaxation response. And guess when our body functions best, Elizabeth?
In the relaxation response.
There we go.
And so when we're talking about the endocannabinoid system, we have an endocannabinoid dome, which comprises the larger environment where we have the lipid dome, our cannabis constituents, food and nutrition, the microbiome, mind-body medicine. And diet is key because all of this is synthesized from healthy fatty acids. So the essential fatty acids, eating good whole plant foods can help you make them. There is crosstalk between all of these systems and our neurotransmitter signaling systems, hormonal signaling systems, etc. And then we can use diet, supplements, adaptogens, herbs, mind-body tools, lifestyle medicine, meditation, visualization of your healing, which is always good, using some imagery, just imagining your body healing, and then using probiotics for healthy gut and digestion to heal the microbiome. And then our lipid dome, having omega-3s and essential fatty acids. All of this works together to make sure that you're healthy. And cannabis works better when we support this whole endocannabinoid dome.
Yeah. So, and just to think about this with cannabis, right? All of the skin of our cells is a thin layer of fat, right? So that's why it's important when we talk about healthy fats. You know, the avocados, the coconut oils,
Yogurts.
the yolk, all of the healthy fats
Eggs.
is really, really important. So for receptor activation, cannabinoids are also lipophilic. So healthy fats is very important. Microbiome, I can't even say enough about how important it is to take care of your microbiome. Did you know that your enteric nervous system that runs from your mouth to your butt communicates to your central nervous system via the endocannabinoid system? Fascinating stuff.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And here we go. Another example.
Fight, flight, and freeze. This is our autonomic nervous system that runs all of our stress response and our relaxation response. And when we get to the relaxation response, we need to have conscious awareness. The fight or flight is happening all the time, just autonomically, right? Automatically. And you have to develop and practice the relaxation response, and meditation can do that. When we are in the rest and repair, that is how we heal. Right. And so the hormonal signaling changes, calming the sympathetic nervous system as we rest. And then also digestion works better when you're relaxed. Homeostasis and balancing of the systems are not running so hot, which can create errors in signaling disarray and dysregulation. And then stimulating the relaxation response. How do we do it? We can use a little cannabis. We can use our mind-body methods. And then using them together is key. Some people will take one small puff and then meditate and pray or exercise, which is also going to help with the relaxation response.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Good one. And then clinical endocannabinoid deficiency. So when the three components of our endocannabinoid system, the endocannabinoids, the enzymes, and the receptors don't work effectively, guess what happens? Messages don't get relayed. And then the body malfunctions, hindering our ability to adapt to outside stressors. So everything, back to this image here, everything interacts with everything. What is happening here is communicating over here. is communicating here, is communicating here. So you have to understand the interconnectedness of our body. It all interacts. Very, very important. So how and why may we have an endocannabinoid deficiency? Well, lifestyle is huge, right? Age, genetics, poor diet, fast food, fried food, fake food, artificial flavors, artificial coloring, trans fat, hydrogenated oils, high fructose corn syrup, and sugar. Huge downregulation of the endocannabinoid system, not optimizing, lack of exercise. When we work out, right? Motion is the lotion. You know, that runner's high that people feel is actually that anandamide molecule actually stimulating those feel-good hormones. Obesity can cause an endocannabinoid deficiency, chronic stress and trauma, poor sleep, insomnia, smoking cigarettes, chronic alcohol use, polypharmacy. The big thing with polypharmacy, not only is it the drug-to-drug interactions, but the drug nutrient depletion. We talk about that. Specifically, if we're talking about cardiovascular health, with heart health, doctors prescribing statins need to be prescribing coenzyme Q10. Coenzyme Q10 is essential for cardiac function. And if you're taking statins, guess what? You're not getting coenzyme Q10. So you need to supplement with it. Very, very important. Diminished social interactions, lack of touch, and laughter. Really, really important to look at the whole picture. And this is it. How do we get in from crisis to the thrive zone?
From crisis to the thrive zone. And you know, when we meet clients, a lot of times they're struggling, right? They're struggling. Maybe they're surviving. Some are in crisis, depending, right? And a lot of people have tried food as medicine, adaptogens, exercise, meditation, prayer, mind, body, vagus nerve stimulation, massage, therapeutic touch, acupuncture, chiropractic, essential oils, energy, Reiki, sound healing, eliminating old devices, restorative sleep, social connections, laughter, and play. And they say, all of this I'm doing, but it's not working.
That was me.
and so when we bring in cannabis and hemp and CBD, now we can sort of grease the skids and have all of these other things start to actually be effective.
Yes.
Yeah. And
so cannabis and hemp products can actually open up that door to allow these other modalities that didn't work to start working again.
Yeah.
And they work effectively, very, very well. So heart health summary. Low doses of THC appear to mostly strongly activate pro-cardiovascular effects. Full spectrum CBD with trace amounts of THC is ideal place to start. Yeah. Low doses of THC have been shown to reduce plaque buildup and risk for atherosclerosis. At higher doses, the effect on CB1 receptors overrides the THC's effect on CB2 receptors and has a negative impact on cardiovascular health. So we really want to think of
low THC.
Low THC. So CBD has been beneficial on cardiovascular risk factors. It improves recovery in animal models of heart attack and stroke. And consumers with heart concerns should gravitate towards higher CBD, lower THC products. Cardiovascular events only represent 2% of all medical reports related to cannabis. And we are here for you. If you have any questions, you can call our nurse line on that.
Yeah.
And now
the therapeutic potential,
woo,
right?
Look
And
at
so,
this.
so this is a sciencey slide, but I love it because it talks about what we're getting towards, right? We're all working towards this. And as the government, which is talking about rescheduling cannabis, this is what's happening in the labs, behind the scenes. At biotech and pharmaceutical companies, they're looking at how to use cannabinoids as therapeutic effects. And if we look at this slide, bone stimulants, antipsychotic, anti-epileptic, we know with Charlotte's Web, that was like the original medicine and CBD that helped mitigate seizures in the kids that are having those Dravet syndrome type 300 per week. Where they're constantly having seizures, but helping analgesia, right? We know that the CBD can reduce pain to get you moving. It does things in the intestines, in the brain, and in the nervous system, helping with diabetes, as we talked about.
What I love here, Elizabeth, is I don't see any THC here.
There's no THC. You don't have to have THC.
Wow.
You don't have to have THC.
Well, what do you know?
This is what I call the medical miracles of this plant.
That's
right? THC is needed for specific things.
Yes.
And people enjoy it, right? It's the recreational aspect. But if you're using THC for heart health, make sure you're choosing low potency THC.
Low potency.
You can go to the dispensary if you see a 35% THC flower, stay away. You're going to want something more like a 10, 12, 14, 15%, especially to start, and always have CBD on board.
Yes, always have CBD on board if you have a cardiovascular and you're going to try THC for the first time, for sure. So THCV, nature's answer to weight loss. This is a great one.
Yeah, we're calling it nature's Ozempic, right? It can mitigate some of the munchies, right? We'll talk about that in a second too. But THCV may influence metabolism by interacting with the ECS, particularly CB2 receptors. THCV might help in regulating blood sugar levels and reducing insulin resistance, which is particularly significant for individuals with obesity or type 2 diabetes, where insulin resistance is a common issue. And I like to talk about it. It's like CBD can and THCV together, especially, can open the door for insulin to get into the cell, or glucose to get into the cell, and perform its functions that are necessary for health, but not build up in the bloodstream. So some of the popular CBD strains might be Remedy, Lifter, Cherry Wine, and AC/DC. And if you want to try inhalation, start with an AC/DC. That's all you need if you can get some good CBD flower.
There we go. And so what's important, the reason why THCV might be so important for patients is because of the cardiovascular, right? It's we're going to be blocking CB1 receptors. So they're not going to have that. You're not going to have that.
So THCV being an antagonist.
An antagonist at CB1 and an agonist at CB2. Very interesting. So it does something completely different
than THC.
Right. Yeah. And then here we go.
And it's the opposite of the munchies, right?
Yeah.
It's the reverse munchies. That's what THCV does. By blocking CB1, in fact, there was a pharmaceutical created back in 2008 called Rimonabant, which blocked CB1, right? And people took this pill, they made it into a pharmaceutical, lost weight, but they also got depressed. Right? Some people were actually suicidal, and they had to pull it from the market because you cannot block CB1. So what we want to do is balance, right? And just because THC is an antagonist of THCV at CB1 doesn't mean it's going to make you depressed, because what we're doing is giving it with CBD, CBG, which is a powerhouse combination, which we might want to talk about on the next slide. Which is this, right? So CBD 1200, CBG 200, and THCV 200. This is a beautiful blend with also the botanicals, lion's mane, reishi, and yerba mate that enhance cognitive energy and function, as well as metabolic functions, and giving you all day alertness and energy so that you can have all of your functionality without getting tired, without reaching for that coffee in the afternoon and that sort of thing. Just have a half of a dropper in the morning and a half of a dropper in the afternoon, and you can power through your day with good metabolic strength and good cognition. So take it to your boardroom.
Yeah, and we're going to be doing a study on this.
Oh yeah.
Soon. Just briefly mention?
Well, yeah, we're going to be working with the Relief app and More Better Studies to do an actual trial of this. And going back to this one, the Canigma is going to be our partner. So we're very excited. They've got an audience of over 500,000 subscribers that get their newsletter. And our study of Bloom Hemp Focus tincture is going to be up at bat in the next month or two. We're forming the study right now. So I'm very excited to launch that and really get some evidence, real world evidence on how this product works for workplace fatigue and metabolic functions.
Metabolic functions and energy, right? Yeah. All right. And then another good one too, Bloom Hemp Advanced Full Spectrum Trilogy Tincture. This is something that you and I formulated based on years and years of experience of working with different combinations of products. So we thought this would be a really good one to put together. So full spectrum CBD with equal parts CBG and CBN for immune support, neuroinflammation, cancer healing, and healing for chronic illness. It's boosted with immune boosting terpenes and botanicals. So there is 1,000 milligrams of CBD, 1,000 of CBG, and 1,000 of CBN. And so we know CBD works on over 70 targets in the body. CBG is the mother of cannabinoids. I love it. And it's a CB2 agonist. CBG has been really, really powerful for so many different patients that can't tolerate THC. It actually helps them to stimulate and produce their own anandamide molecule. Really, really good for gut health. Really, really good for balancing HPA access and modulating the immune response. CBN is both a CB1 and CB2 agonist, a mild agonist at CB1 and CB2, and really, really good for calming neuroinflammation and the calming effect. Beta-caryophyllene, one of my favorite terpenes of all time. It is a CB2 agonist that acts as an analgesic, anti-inflammatory, anti-cancer, antifungal, antidepressant, antioxidant, anti-proliferative, anti-epileptic, and neuroprotective. Very, very powerful. And then the other botanicals, astragalus is an adaptogen supporting digestive, endocrine, and immune systems. And we have oregano oil, which is also great for antimicrobial and antiviral benefits, supporting the microbiome and immune function. And then it's got a beautiful, warm, cinnamony flavor to it. And cinnamon oil is added to it as a botanical to provide some of that flavoring, but also cinnamon acts as an antioxidant and anti-inflammatory.
Yeah, and all of those botanicals are direct CB2 agonists.
Yep, CB2 agonist. So this would be a really good one for someone that is actually new to cannabis as medicine.
Yes,
and if someone has a cardiovascular,
it's very, very strong. So 100 milligrams per milliliter. So you only need a quarter dropper at a time. So 25 milligrams, which is a nice split between the three powerhouse cannabinoids and these terpenes.
Yeah.
And then you can get tolerance, right? It won't make you so tired. But initially, it might make you a little bit tired.
Yeah, we've had a couple of older folks.
So you started at night.
Yeah, a couple of older folks that have started this, and they were like, whoa, that was strong.
I took a nap.
I took a nap, but I'm like, all right, well, we just
take it at night.
Take it. Well, that's
take it at night because then it'll help your sleep. Take it.
It'll help you to sleep, but then you can also
dinner.
take it in the daytime. But people are going to take it in the daytime. We have people usually do a quarter of a dropper, a breakfast, lunch, dinner, bedtime for that immune response. And what do we get a sale?
Yep.
At Bloom today.
Yesterday
What do you know?
So
Bloom
40% off with Love 40. If you go to bloomhemp.com, you can enter Love 40 at checkout and you will get 40% off of everything other than bundles, which are already discounted. And if you missed the sale today and you're watching this in a few days or a week from now, you can use Love 20 and you'll save 20% off. But we have a flash sale today.
And so what makes us different at Bloom? You've heard the amazing commercial, right? USDA organic hemp, symptom targeted formulas. We have a free nurse line, free care plan. So if you have a phone, you want to hold up your phone, you can go right to here and you can scan the QR code of our services and go and fill out the intake form. And we're going to
about 10 questions.
About 10 questions, and we're going to provide tips, tricks, hugs, nugs, and some products to get you started. We also have a free network, affiliate, and wholesale and retail. Here we go.
So, and CNHC. So the Cannabis Nurse Health Coach Program opens the medical door in America for nurses. We have been training nurses for many, many years. And we put together this comprehensive 30 continuing education units for nurses and 30 units, so 3 modules with about 10 units per module. There's a licensing system, which means that this is a business in a box. It's soup to nuts, everything you could possibly need to start your own cannabis nurse health coach practice and to go out and see patients. There's a monthly mastermind and nurse mentoring. So this is what nurses are looking for. How do I learn, not just from a book and a program, but how do I learn from people that have been doing this for the last decade? This is what we do, where we go through the case studies, clinical conversations, and then we help them with understanding CBD and product development and training them on that, as well as networking them into industry opportunities and social events and conferences. And then rewarding and meaningful work is ahead for nurses by creating this patient-centered total healthcare, THC healthcare. We've been talking about patient-centered care for a long, long time. And this is a way to really do it because you put the patients first and everything centers around them. But so in this program, we put the nurses first and give nurses everything they need.
So CNHC is the Cannabis Nurse Health Coach Certificate Program, Nurse 50 for 50% off.
Go to holisticcaring.com.
That's it.
Click the homepage, scroll down a little bit, and there's even a video that describes the entire program, walks through the program, walks through the network, walks through all of that. And you can just watch that video as well as some of the other things about Health 3.0 and Cannabis 3.0 and how they converge in cannabis nursing. So take 50% off this month with Nurse 50.
There we go. Learn.
We got your favorite tab.
My favorite tab. So we just built out this condition learning library on our website. It's amazing. So we're waiting for cannabinoids to be done, but we have conditions, endocannabinoid system, terpenes, botanicals. So discover natural solutions for common conditions that often find inadequate relief with conventional care. So we've built out this beautiful library for you on our website, and we hope you enjoy it. I just wanted to give a big plug. Thank you, Carrie, for creating this. Amazing, amazing website
Mhm.
designer. We're very grateful for you and your skill set and in bringing our dreams to life.
Mhm.
And then the ecosystem.
The ecosystem, right? So again, patient-centered care, you got the patient there and all of our services and systems built around that patient, right? So Holistic Caring Network has the ongoing services for patients and providers and all of our programs. It's run by nurses and our pharmacists, hello, Charmaine, and CBD education and lifestyle support. So if you go to our website, you can, well, this is the network. So you can get our free introduction to cannabis course, but you got to enter through the website. So go to holisticcaring.com first and enter the free network. And then you can also enter the free intro to cannabis program. There's a portal for patients to connect. And on the website, you can get your 7-page medical cannabis guide just by signing up for our newsletter, which is filled with everything that you need. We send a monthly newsletter. It's not annoying. All the stuff that you're going to want.
Annoying.
Not annoying at all. And then just to wrap up, make sure you write down the nurse line number, 970-404-HOPE. Or 4673. And that's the triage to all care. If you have a question about the Cannabis Nurse Health Coach program, patient programs, professional programs, psychedelics, or you just want to book an appointment and you want to know what that entails.
Or you just want to say hi to Elizabeth.
you can just call the nurse line. You can call the nurse line.
All right. And then, of course, subscribe to our YouTube channel. And then there's one other thing I want to show. We are going to be presenting next week. I want to put a little plug up because I put it up here. Ooh, I don't think I did.
Okay, well, we're going to be presenting next week at CVCAN, the Coachella Valley Cannabis Alliance Network. I serve on the board, and we're very happy to be able to present a public educational seminar where we're going to go through the ABCs of CBD for the public here in Coachella Valley. Everybody's invited. So if you would like to attend, it's going to be at Miracle Springs on Palm Drive in Desert Hot Springs. It's free. It goes from 5 to 8. We'll have our program about 6 p.m. So if you want to attend, just go to CoachellaValleyCan.org and sign up.
All right. And I will put a link.
She'll put that in the show notes.
I will put that right in the show notes for everyone right there. We would love to see you. If you're in California, come visit us. And we have one question before we wrap up. Hopefully our viewers still there.
There's a question. Yeah.
There's
So
a question.
Christian, I have a question for you ladies. After we lost it.
It's okay. I got it. All right. Hey, Rachel. So Christian writes, I have a question for you ladies. After a show or whenever I smoke my medication right before bed, I take between 4 to 6 hits, put it out, and don't get any effects anymore. I eat more than 50 milligram gummies, but then it make me want to eat. I've gained a bit of weight.
Well, Christian, we need to talk to you about a tolerance break.
Well, tolerance break, but here it is. I actually was chatting with Raphael Machulam years ago when I started text messaging. And I asked him, I said, do our endocannabinoid requirements change over time as we change? And he said, absolutely, they do. So basically, your needs have changed. If cannabis isn't working for you anymore, it's not the cannabis. We need to look at the products you're using, the milligrams you're using, the methods of administration, and timing, and everything else that you're doing or not doing. So it would just be, and we'd be happy to offer you a free care plan at Bloom Hemp.
But just, free tips, change your, first of all, find a way to take about 4 days off, right? So if you reset your receptors, they will be much more able to process the THC at a later date, right? So
here's the reason.
Take a little bit of a time off and then go back to about half of what you're using now, or even a quarter. And on the 50 milligram gummies, go back to a 10 milligram gummy, and it actually will be effective.
If you take the time off.
If you take the 4 days off.
And here's the reason. So you take the time off, your body says, whoa, where are you, THC? Whoa, I miss you. I miss you. And so your body's going to start creating more receptors, actually looking for the cannabinoids, right? So you've taken so much that now your receptors have hidden and have gone to sleep. So it has nothing to grab onto. So you have all this floating THC in your system.
And no receptors to plug into.
Yeah.
So that's why you're not processing it.
The lights are on and no one's home.
So what can you do on your tolerance break of 3 to 4 days? high CBD. Trilogy would be awesome to just calm the nervous system down in a way that THC has been but isn't anymore. And then walking, exercise, really that helps upregulate those receptors, and really a good diet and sleep a little bit more.
Yep. But if you want a free care plan, you can go to bloomhemp.com, click on the service tab, fill out the form, and we will send you a care plan on some tips and tricks, hugs and nugs to help make cannabis work better for you.
Okay.
So this has been a great show.
Yeah, this is it. So
happy Valentine's
God
Day.
bless you all. Happy Valentine's. Our love to you.
Yeah.
And, just
remember what it's all about, everyone.
Helping us live our best lives and helping others do the same.
That's it. That's right.
That's what we do.
And we'll see you next time.
We're here to educate and empower patients to make choices that are best for them. We're also here to decrease stigma around what it means to feel good and be high. Hence the H for hope, I for inspiration, G for growth, and H for healing. The Green Nurse is a holistic cannabis nurse that teaches on the endocannabinoid system and the safe utilization of cannabis and other progressive tools to help people reach a better quality of life.
I was cannabis agnostic for many, many years. And the more research I did, the more I discovered that cannabis is this amazing medicine.
I was told that I had a 4-stage pancreatic cancer. The doctor really told me he couldn't do anything else. He gave me her name and she called me and she came to my house. She started to give me cannabis. My oncologist was puzzled because he couldn't find the cancer anymore.
All of the learning that we get comes from the Green Nurses Group, comes from their support, comes from their guidance. I trust everything that she says.
Simply meet people where they're at. The plant doesn't, stress to grow, so we don't stress to share it. We're healing people.
Cannabis has been used as a medicine for tens upon thousands of years. Here's the big message. Cannabis needs to be federally legal. We need to have laws that are the same across all 50 states that allow access to anyone and everyone who wants to utilize this powerful medicine.